Hello, welcome back. And so in our last video, we went over how to add an inventory item. And in this video, what we're going to cover is how to add some stock to that inventory item, how to actually say that you have some inventory actually in stock on your shelves. So if we look here, we've got 4 different inventory items, and we've got quantities of 0, 0, 150, and 40. And so what we're going to do is we're going to add some of these tires right here. And so to do so, I'm going to come over to the right side where I've got an action, and I'm going to say add stock. And what that's going to do is that's going to open up the add stock window, and we've got a few fields: purchase date, arrival date, price, price type, quantity, and supplier. Just like in our other videos we've talked about, I want to make a special note here about supplier. Is you can either add your suppliers over here, or you can add it in line. So if I come over here and say add new, let's say I want to say, okay, I get Toyo, Toyo, whoop. And you can see now that I've just added that supplier. And so whether you add it through here, whether you add it through there, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. So let's just go through here and say, let's say that let's say I ordered some tires on the 8th. Let's say that they arrived on the 12th. And let's say I just am now getting into checking them in. So I'm going to go ahead and put my price down and say that I spent $5,000 and it was total price. And so here we've got unit price, we've got total price. And so what that is basically, if I spent $5,000 on my bill for, 20 tires or whatever, I'm going to want to use total price. As opposed to if I know that I spent, $87.50 on each tire and I bought 50 tires, well, then I'm going to use unit price and put that $87.50. You also want to make sure that on this price field, that it's the total price that you paid. That it includes, it's fully landed cost. So it's the price of the item. If you've got tax, it's including tax, it's including shipping, it's including freight. Any of those things that you have to pay, you want to make sure that all of that is taken into consideration, so that when you put this in here, you're actually understanding what the cost of this particular item is. And so we're going to say $5,000 total price, and we're going to say we bought 20 tires. And my supplier, I know on this one I put BFG, so let's put BFG, and I'm going to go ahead and save that. So with that, we now see that we've got 20 tires, and we can see we've got an average unit price of $250, and we have a total price of $5,000. That means that we've got $5,000 worth of tires at a unit price of $250. And so I want to briefly delve into this average unit price here. When it comes to inventory, there's a lot of different ways in which you can keep track of costs. A few examples are FIFO, LIFO, or average unit price. With FIFO, it's first in, first out. LIFO, it's last in, first out. An average unit cost is just the average cost of all of the stuff all of the inventory items that you have in stock. With Modius, we decided to make it really simple, and the reason for that is there are some cases where you do need to use LIFO or FIFO. For example, at a grocery store, when you buy milk, obviously if every day you're buying milk and your average time that milk's on the shelf is, say, a week, and milk expires after 2 weeks, for instance, you're not going to want to get the milk you got today and put it at the very front. Obviously, you'd want to make sure that you're rotating that milk properly so that the oldest milk is getting sold first, so you're not having a bunch of wasted things. There may be cases where, I know like some aerospace paint shops and stuff where they do have time limits on their paint, and so they have to be mindful of that. But for 98% of the users, if you buy a bag of screws today and then you buy a bag of screws tomorrow, you're not going to be like, oh, well, I'm going to use this first bag first and I'm going to use this second bag second because I don't want these screws to go bad. You're not keeping track to that level, and most people aren't. And so that's where we just decided to use average unit cost. And so average unit cost is just taking all of the cost of that part and averaging that with how much you have. And so every time you add stock, it calculates a new average price. And so let's kind of show that. So again, so let's pull up our handy dandy calculator here. And what we're going to do is we said, okay, so we've said we bought $5,000 worth of tires and we bought them for $20, and we bought 20 of them, and so you can see $250. So now let's add some more stock, and we're going to say, so those ones we bought on the 8th. But let's say that we're in a rush. We knew a big order was coming in. It was, I think these are 35s or 37s in here. We knew that a big Moab thing down there. We want to have lots of tires in stock. And so what we did is on the 22nd, we ordered some tires, and we paid so that they would be here on the 24th, so we paid a little bit extra. Let's say we paid $8,000 total price for 20 of these tires. So we paid $3,000 more to get these tires here a little bit quicker. And so we're going to select BFG again, and we're going to hit Save. And now we look, and we have a $325 average unit price. So let's pull up another calculator here. And let's take a look at that. So we just bought $8,000 worth of tires, and we bought 20 of them at $400 unit price. And so if we look, we've got 250, and then we bought it, and it was 450. In reality, you're going to see that fluctuation as you buy products. You're going to see some are a little high, some are a little low. Sometimes it's on clearance, whatever it may be. Sometimes you're going to buy 5 and not get a discount. Sometimes you're going to buy 500 and get a really good discount. But you're going to see that fluctuation. And so right now we're showing our average unit price of $325. And the reason for that is like I said, every time you buy new stock, every time you buy product and you bring in this stock, it's going to recalculate that average price. So let's open up our calculator once more. And if we look here, we've now got a total price of $13,000. And we've got our quantity is 40. And then we can see that there's 325. Those are unit price of $325. And so what that means is right now, if I were to go and put a tire on a truck, it would be a cost of $325 to me. Now, if I had put that tire on that truck a week ago, it would have been $250 a cost to me. If I had sold out all of my previous tires a week ago and this higher, more expensive order came through and I had a zero balance and I bought the $8,000 worth of tires and for a $400 unit price, then if I put that on a vehicle, it would have been $400. So hopefully that helps you kind of understand the unit cost. The fact is that in the end, that's what the system's for, is so that you don't have to I want you to understand what it's doing, but you don't really need to put a huge amount of work into really understanding this in every minor detail. The fact is that every time you put quantity in, it's gonna adjust that unit price, and it will do that until the point at which you reach zero. And so again, you can see over here that we've now got 40, we've got 0 here, and we've got 150. The reason why we're red here is obviously because it's 0. So if we come through here again, we can just simply say add stock. Again, we pick a day, we say the days that it was $3,000 total price, and we bought 20 tires, BFG, save, and boom, we've got 20 items. And so hopefully that helped you understand how you add stock. And so whatever accounting program you're using, when you get your PO and you make your PO and you get that back, what you're going to do is take that PO, take your total cost, and take the quantity of items that you purchased, and you just go ahead and click on that and add that stock, and you can see it just takes a few seconds, and you're done, nice and easy and painless.